I thank y'all very much for tuning in. So, here's my question. What happens every time family gets together? I know where our favorite conversation is. Let's talk about it right after this.
Let's talk about love and marriage, the way that God intended. A life experience, here we share it. The No Fruit Podcast. Tune in from any platform. No Fruit Podcast. Will help your spirit transform.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing today? So, my question to you. When your family gets together, what is the one conversation that y'all have that's always consistent? But it seems as though, in all reality, it doesn't really happen. My conversation with my family most recently, when a lot of us had gotten together, we asked about a family reunion.
Oh.
Now, my family, being my mother's side, has not had a family reunion since 1997. And on my dad's side, what we called a reunion might not have happened since 2002 or 4. It's one of those years. I'm not sure. I think it might have been 4. No. Somebody was in a baby carriage.
Not the last time. They had 2.
They had 2?
Yes, there was 2.
So what was the 2?
Both of them were out.
I mean, they was in the same place.
Yes. But there was 2 separate ones.
Okay.
One with, there were 2 separate
Okay,
ones.
so maybe it was 2000. Let's give it 2008.
Okay.
Whatever it might have been.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for whatever reason, we want to do a reunion, but it just don't get off the ground for whatever reason. And like I said, I want to know how many of you are in the same boat. Well, so Kaf.
Yes.
Is your family in that boat too?
I mean, I think yes and no. I mean, we've tried likewise several times to get the next generation to come together and make it happen. Do some planning, do some fundraising, come up with the ideas, pay the dues, get committees, all those things. So I can go back to when we were that far, like we had committees, we were paying dues. That was prior to that thing that happened in 2020. And then after that thing happened in 2020, then everything kind of got fizzled out, and all your dues, they were like, look, just take your money back. You're going to need it. So we're not going anywhere.
Right.
So that happened. And then we tried, I think, again sometime after that. And we didn't even, I guess we broke down into a few committees. We had a planning committee. We had a few committees, but it just kind of also fizzled out again. Not quite sure why. And, that's kind of where we've been with everything. So I think with the next generation, it's just been harder to make it happen. I mean, and like you said, we can find a location or a city. We struggled with finding a hotel and the activities. Like some people were like, they want it very traditional. Let's have a meet and greet on Friday, and let's have some, activity all together on Saturday, and church service on Sunday. Everybody go home. Well, then there were some other people that were like, no, it needs to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And people were like, I ain't taking all that time off from work. So, it was a back and forth. Then there's always that thing, well, what's the family gathering on Saturday? Oh, it's a banquet. Then other people are like, no, it's going to be a cookout. Other people are like, well, I'm not cooking any food, So it's always been somewhat back and forth on what that weekend looks like. And then once you start breaking down how much stuff costs, that also deterred some folks when you look at hotel costs and all the things when you try to do a banquet at the hotel. And if you have it somewhere else, then how do you transport people from a hotel site to somewhere else. So it's all just a lot different than it was when we were little. Like you just piled in somebody's car, you didn't know whose car it was, but you knew you was with somebody that was a cousin. Hey, I'm your cousin. Come on, baby, get in this car. We get ready to go.
Right.
And you went. You know what I mean? Well, nowadays it's like, you gonna stay right here with me, and where I go, you know. And so I think it's just a little bit different.
So here's where this is stemming from, everybody.
Yes.
So recently, y'all heard me talk about on my show when Kafa wasn't on the show, where I talked about family members passing on, all those type of things. So, we just had a funeral, and so I'm talking to these cousins, and now, mind you, the cousins, like when we started talking about the lineage and how I'm related to them and all that type of stuff, funny enough, those that are, let's give them 10 to 15 years older than me, didn't really understand the connection. And then when we talked about the connection, it's like, wow, we really need to have a reunion. And so I started walking around the room and asking everybody what they thought about a reunion. And when I talked to them about that, they were like, oh, we need to get it done. Where, we have some ideas, we got this and that and whatever it is, but we just need that one person that's going, hey, let's who's going to organize it. So, that's the, part of the reason. And then when we realize, because we're not that close, we realize that we have a lot of the same interest. We start to realize that a lot of us are in the same headspace of generational wealth. We realize that the older we get, in all honesty, a whole lot of us don't have a whole lot of friends. And it's like, I would rather be with my cousins, who were technically my first friends anyway, than I would want to be with anybody else.
Right.
And I think that right there made a world of a difference, because my family didn't come up really, really close. We were around, but when it got to my parent generation and then us, we were okay. And then all of a sudden, like for us, everybody kind of scattered. Everybody started doing their own thing. And so I think those are the things that we really need to consider at this point of who we really are, what are we trying to do, what are we trying to accomplish as a family. You see other ethnic groups, racial groups, whatever, however you want to put it, cultures, however you want to put it, how some can come together a little bit better than others. And some of it might be jealousy, envy. Hey, I don't need you to dictate my life for me. And, you hear all these different reasons as to why people start to separate, why people start to not want to be a part of the family and this and that. And excuse me, what all those things. So I think I really do believe at this point in time, especially in our stage of life, and I'm starting to see the real importance of family, and that we are not as far off as far as vision, as far as conversations, as we might have thought in the past.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of it, when you sit down and you talk to people, as you're stating, Maurice, that you can find that you do have similarities. And that can be family or just other people in general. You talk about some things and you can find that there's a connection there, but it means even more when it's your family, because it's like, hey, we could be doing so much more together than we could if we were apart. I think that the difficult part is that some of the family members are not first cousins.
Right.
They're first cousins once, twice, 3 times removed. their cousins that are 300 miles away type thing. But because of technology, they don't have to feel like they're 300 miles away, unlike things felt for us when we were growing up. So, those cousins that I had in other states, I only saw them and talked to them holiday time. When all of the family got together, you made it a point to be with those cousins. I think family reunion also lends itself to, like you're stating, just getting to know each other and getting to know your lineage and your family tree. I think a lot of folks don't understand that and value that. And I know that that's been something that you and I have looked at throughout the years, of just understanding our family tree and who's in it. One of it because we both have kin from the same town or nearby.
We could be related.
Right. So we were always interested in trying to find out if there is any crossing or whatever. We haven't found it yet, y'all, so don't think that we're kissing cousins, because we're not.
And even if we are, we would be like number 30 cousin.
So
the blood is water by then.
So
it might be lemonade.
You're crazy. So that's kind of why we started, looking into it a little bit deeper. I think we both kind of had an interest in it before, but then talking to my relatives and finding out more from those who are older or more vested in things in the South, from origin-wise, you were able to have a good conversation with those individuals and find out, oh, okay, well, what about this and what about that? Do you guys know these people? So that lent it to you, and I talking and researching more.
And I think with that, you're right, because I did reach out. I did talk. I did because I was, especially because my great aunt at that particular time was really, really like, "Hey, Reese, we need to find out who did what." And then here's the thing: when you start to find out who had babies with who, when you find out who had mystery babies with who. When you start to find out that somebody was kissing under the maple tree, like you start pulling out all these things, like, oh wow, did they really like live together? Like he really had a whole family around the corner, like literally.
I mean, yeah. So the things you see on movies and soap operas and
all you gotta do is look in your family.
You just gotta look in your family, look that ancestry up and look up I mean, because and so if census. I really look through my own family tree, Kafa's family name is written throughout. Now, through her family name, you don't really see too many of mine directly. Not directly, but hers most definitely through mine. And then you start to hear, technically there were 2 sets down there. I thought all y'all came from one plantation. But and then the other part is that there's another part of her family where, again, when we look at we don't even have to look at the census. We can go to the cemetery. And where families are kind of put together in this one church cemetery. My family is on one side of the road. Right on the other side is another plot area of just her family. So literally it's like if everybody stood up out their casket, all they would look at each other and exactly be like, "Hey, family." So sometimes we need to really understand, in my opinion, who we're really related to, what's really going on. Because I'm going to be honest with you, like we just saw a video the other day where the young lady said they're with their cousins
And the
To
boy
her
was
husband, she's talking to her husband, and she said, we're third cousins. And the bull was like, you ain't my wife.
She was like that. He was like, yep, we're done.
We're done. She was like, but we already got a kid. What if we had a kid together? He was like, nope. We cousins. We cousins. We can't be married if we cousins.
Like, we ain't no kissing cousins over here.
Yeah.
He said, we gone even if I gotta kill you. Like,
right?
So.
And she was like, well, the kid ain't come out deformed.
Right.
It ain't come out, with special needs or anything, so we good. He's like, nope. It's not happening. If you my cousin, that's what you gonna stay. But unfortunately, that's not how it always has been when you look at the census. In some of these small towns, and even to go back further to history, some of the inbreeding and the cousins, dealing with cousins and siblings dealing with siblings or whatever, however that happened.
Well, I had an aunt who said there was nothing else to do but to be on the tree.
Be on the tree?
Well, she was talking about being up on the tree.
Okay.
Not whatever, not the dumb stuff, but literally, where you gonna be behind the tree?
I mean, yeah, you didn't have cable, you didn't have a whole lot of
things.
Yeah,
you had Netflix.
Right. They was just chilling without the Netflix. Right, they was just like, come on, let's just maple tree and chill.
Right.
So.
They made their own Crunchyroll, So basically, that's all you really had, right? You had to find a way to be entertained, i.e. As my aunt puts it, the idea, hey, you know what? Make sure that you take so-and-so with you when you go outside, right? So my aunt was that so-and-so. Hey, you need to take
your little
sibling with you when you go, you and this person go to the store.
Or go for a walk.
Go through the woods.
Thinking that was going to stop y'all from doing a whole lot. So that little sister or little brother just saw a whole lot. Because it didn't stop them from doing a whole lot.
Nope. They probably was like, close your eyes.
You know what I mean? Go pick some flowers and come back.
So I think that's conversation of needing or wanting a family reunion, especially in today's day and age. We need it because we start to realize how far apart we really are.
Right. I think as we multiply, we become further apart. Again, how many cousins did you have when you were little versus how many cousins you have now? Because the cousins you had when you were little have had children. And in some cases, their children have had children.
Well, it was like when we went to the funeral, right?
Yes.
And it was funny because my brother, who wanted to tell in front of everybody, my name is Michael. This is Maurice. He's the older brother. I'm the younger brother. Now, what everybody said at the repast was, no, what you should have said, I'm the pop. I mean, everybody was like, you're the younger brother, but you got 3 grandkids. So that means what?
Right. Yeah. So, again, what that means is, in the past, back in the day when you had family reunion, you and your brother could share a room.
Right.
Now, your brother need 2-3 rooms.
Yep.
Just him and his squad.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, I think as the family grows and we become larger, it becomes harder to pull all those people together. And we don't have that connection of a big mama's house, or because big mama said we all need to get together. So we're going to do it because she said so. So I don't know in very many families how many people have somebody with that kind of a clout. To kind of pull those strings. Either they've put everything together and we just going, or that person is telling somebody, hey, put all this together and this is what we're going to have. Right. So, for the family reunions that I attended as a young person, I don't know who put those together. When I went down south and whatnot, I have no idea. I just somehow ended up in somebody's car and ended up in South Carolina, North Carolina. Don't know how. I remember how I got there one time, but the other time I don't remember how I got there and back. I've seen pictures of me in both places.
Right.
But have no idea. When I got older and I was in the planning committee for a family reunion here, so I knew a little bit more then. But
So how did you
yes,
you go to a family reunion and you're like, poof, I'm here.
I'm here.
I mean, that's interesting. That sounds fun.
Don't know how I got there.
Poof.
My mother didn't drive.
Yes, he doesn't.
No, I don't know how I got there. Somehow, some way.
Somehow, some way.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a bus because I don't have any recollection of a bus. Don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It is.
That's interesting. But, I would like to say that for those of you that are listening, please share. Please share.
What do you want them to share?
Do you know your family? Do you know whether or not your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever it is, do you know if y'all cousins or not?
Well, we're all related somehow. We all
So you said
somewhere.
that the other day, right?
Yes.
You said that the other day. I'm like, nobody's going back to Adam. Nobody going back to Noah. Nobody going back to Methuselah.
Okay.
Right. There's no way for anybody to, I guess some people could track their lineage that far.
We don't have to go that far back because things kind of ended and then started again. So do you go back to Noah? Because a whole lot of other people. So, or do you go back to, So, but somehow, some way.
What would you do if you tracked your heritage and you went and realized that your grandfather times 12 was Jonah? That is one heck of a party story. My grandpapa was in a whale.
I don't eat fish.
I don't like the water.
Right.
I don't like it's just some of them stories that's in the Bible. Can you imagine if you were to track it and say, hey, this is what how in the world, what would you say to somebody if, your family lineage went back to Moses? And he's the one that had hot foot, couldn't step on the ground. You know what? All those type of things. He walked through the water. What would you say? What would you say?
I don't know.
When people say, when they say, in my father's house, there's many mansions. Well, my grandfather was King Solomon. You get what I mean?
Exactly.
So they were like, I understand that. So how would you, how would you think? What would you consider yourself when you?
Hey. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of stories that you were like, hey, what if I was related to Queen Esther? Or, you know what I mean? Or if I was related to Queen Vashti, or what if I was related to Mary, who broke the alabaster box? Do I even, what is my feeling towards that? What if I was married to the lady who baked, the last things of bread, type of a thing?
What about the one where everybody says, yeah, I want to find my Boaz?
Oh, yes.
You hear that a lot, right? Or, I'm an entrepreneur today because I was told I need to be like my grandmama who was told to go and, go into her storehouse and get the oil, because her husband died, all that type of stuff. So it's just kind of those type of things. When you start thinking about that, you be like, is that really in my blood? Like you just said, I don't eat fish today because...
I'm a baker. I'm going to open up a bakery because, hey, I baked these cakes and, we all stayed alive.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, even though there was a famine in the land, I thought I only had enough to keep me for one more day. So, but that's in my blood. That's my family lineage. That's my my legacy. I'm supposed to do this because of whom I'm connected to.
So that means basically that our lives were predestined.
In some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Maurice wants to know if you know who you connected to.
Yeah, because if you're saying we all cousins.
Well, I want to know, off of what Maurice's topic was, how many of you have done a family tree? And what did you use to get that information? Because, honey, I could do a whole nother show on how twisted and flipped up and messed up that some of these sites are, because a lot of them depend upon people putting stuff in, and it's just like people are bringing up stuff. I'm like, that ain't my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
That's the father. That ain't the cousin.
Right.
You know, so I understand the names. Everybody's name was Billy, you know, but we got to figure out who Billy's dad is. There's a Billy dad and there's a Billy son, and then there's a Billy the cousin, and they all different.
So,
but they all lived in the same house. But we have to be able to identify.
I can't say we live on the same house. But in all so my family, there's a lot of Davids, there's a lot of Maurices, and so if somebody
why would you name your kid Maurice if you already know there's a bunch of Maurices? This is going to be more confusing.
So if somebody said, "Yeah, cousin Maurice," which one?
Right.
What are you talking about? You know, like I was talking to somebody at the funeral, and like, you know, David or whatever. They're like, "Which one?"
Which David? Right. And then with your family, y'all just all say David. It's not like Dave, Davey,
DD, DJ, DS. Like,
no, it's just everybody is David.
And then I think there's quite a few John Calvins or James Calvin, something like that. Mm-hmm. So everybody's name was JC.
Gotcha.
There's a whole lot of JCs. Mm-hmm. Uncle JC. Now that's part of the difference with that one. Everybody understand who Uncle JC is. Okay. Overall. But when you start saying other stuff, yeah, it'd be. So I think it's those type of things that. Oh, you know what the secondary, the next tier of names is Kevin. That's another name that runs through my family is Kevin. You know, so it's not too many people that have girl names, you know, that repeat. Not too many. Mm-hmm. Not too many. You know, but it's like I said, I know of at least 4.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so of Maurice's. I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 or 7 Davids.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, names didn't really repeat on my grandmother's side. Some generations before her, from where we know as far as back as they can go, the first name that they found was Lucretia. So that name repeats. And she was the baby out of, you know, some umpteen kids. So they always call her baby Lucretia, but she's the beginning of the lineage. So there are several Lucretias after her, but it all starts with baby. Mm-hmm. And then all the babies after her are just called Lucretias. So it can get a little bit confusing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, nowhere else that I've looked, I've had, you know, duplicate names. It's just looking at the addresses and just like, well, why is this person living with this family?
Well, you know what's funny that you say that, because it makes you think about George Foreman.
Everybody said George. Mm-hmm.
So which Lucretia are you talking about? Especially if you got a few of them alive.
Right. I mean, and George is quite difficult because they all have, now I don't know if they have different middle names and they all go by that. I don't know. But because, like you said, hey, they all say George Foreman and they all lived at that said address,
right,
for some particular time, and then you have to then depend upon everyone's penmanship and you know, computer expertise to say, hey, they put the right name and the right birth date in, for you to be able to track that. So I wonder if if George's kids who are named George, did they name their kids George? So it's George the third generation, because I don't know if what
was the name of the king in my play that it went on in Hamilton. What's his name, George?
Kids George, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll be back.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. She kept saying George. I'm like, George, jungle. So I started going through all the songs or whatever. I'm like, no, that's my favorite George. When he started singing.
But you haven't seen Queen Charlotte.
No, I haven't. Queen Charlotte TV show.
Yes.
Parts of it.
Okay, because that's the lifestyle. I mean, that gives you the backstory of George.
Right.
So you'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
Because she says George a lot. So when you were saying
she does?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I mean, we'll do that.
Very good.
We'll do that. So
yeah, Maurice
so
wants
my
to
question.
know.
So my question. I got a few questions.
Oh, goodness.
One.
Write this down, y'all.
One. Are you seeing your cousin?
Are you dating your cousin?
Knowingly. Number two. How would you feel if your parents were sitting in a whale? We talked about the whole Jonah thing.
Okay.
And then number three, does your family, when it could be anything, and y'all get together and y'all just be like, yo, we need to have a reunion. So I got 3 questions for y'all.
Okay.
And you had a question. What was your question?
My question is just how many of you have done some family history, some digging, and then what tool did you use to do that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how reliable do you think that? I just want to know, how reliable do you think that is? Because I've tried 2 different ones.
So I guess we could talk about it in another show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't y'all let us know?
Please do.
Yeah.
Inquiring minds want to know.
And we thank y'all for listening today. And we'll be back. Then you'll see that you really couldn't leave me. We'll be back. Time will tell. I don't know what could rhyme with tell. That you really didn't know me well. Something. I gotta find some words.
He'll have it next time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to write a whole little ditty. Okay. I'm trying to change the words at the drop of a hat. I can't do it. My brain's not. I'm not back 100% yet.
As you all can hear, we're both still coughing slightly. Mm-hmm. But
this is ridiculous.
Yes.
It is really ridiculous. So we'll talk to y'all a little later.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the No Fruit Podcast, where we bring you fruitful conversations, ripened wisdom, and love that's deeply rooted. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration in their day. Until next time, stay rooted in love, and remember, every seed you plant today shapes the fruit of tomorrow.